I think if there is one through line that everybody should be able to follow with this new Trump administration, it is the sheer incompetence that we are seeing day in and day out. Donald Trump has filled his cabinet with a whole bunch of people that are just patently unqualified to do those jobs. And now it is those same people who are making catastrophic mistakes, the latest of which has resulted in probably the biggest national security scandal in modern day history, where you've got a national security advisor who accidentally added a journalist to a private Signal conversation, and then those people proceeded to discuss classified information regarding the bombing of Houthi terrorists. And now you've got these intelligence officials being dragged before Congress to figure out how something like this could ever happen. And of course, the incompetence and just the sheer ignorance. It was on full display. So let's go ahead and take a look at a few of these clips. Here's Ron Wyden asking whether or not it is common procedure to discuss classified information in group chats with Trump administration officials. If you guys do appreciate my work, please do remember to subscribe.
Records or potential crimes that ought to be investigated immediately. And I want to make clear that I'm of the view that there ought to be resignations, starting with the National Security Advisor and the Secretary of Defense. Director Ratcliffe and Director Gabbard, have you participated in any other group chats with senior Trump administration officials in which classified information was shared using phones that weren't cleared for such information? Question for the two of you.
Senator, thank you for the question. I haven't, your question was, have I participated in any other group chats sharing classified information? To be clear, I haven't participated in any Signal group messaging that relates to any classified information at all.
Okay. Director Gabbard.
Senator, I have the same answer. I have not participated in any Signal group chat or any other chat on another app that contained any classified information.
Can we acknowledge just how absolutely insane this actually is? You've got government officials who are using third-party messaging apps and then discussing classified information regarding the striking of a foreign terrorist organization. And then you've got these clowns come before Congress and they try to play dumb, like, oh no, we've never discussed any classified information in these group settings. We would never do that. That's never happened. The reporting is very clear on this. Jeffrey Goldberg, the reporter from The Atlantic, was invited by Mike Walls to this conversation where Tulsi and John Radcliffe were very much part of the conversation. And Jeffrey Goldberg was able to follow along the entire way, leading all the way up to the bombing of the Houthi terrorists. So to have these people come before Congress and try to play dumb like they've never done anything like this before is just insane. And if this was the Biden administration, there would, without a doubt, there would be resignations. And there should be resignations here too. People like Pete Hegseth, John Radcliffe, Mike Walls, these people should resign. They are putting American lives at risk because they are so damn careless in their operations. Then you've got Angus King, who tries to drill down a little bit further, saying, here's the type of classified information we're talking about. How can you try to tell me that this isn't classified information?
Secretary Hegseth put into this group text a detailed operation plan, including targets, the weapons we were going to be using, attack sequences, and timing. And yet you've testified that nothing in that chain was classified. Wouldn't that be classified? What if that had been made public that morning before the attack took place?
Senator, I can attest to the fact that there were no classified or intelligence equities that were included in that chat group at any time.
So,
and I
so the
defer,
attack sequencing and timing and weapons and targets you don't consider should have been classified?
I defer to the
classified?
Secretary of Defense and the National Security Council on that question.
Well, you're the head of you're the head of the intelligence community, and you're supposed to know about classifications. So your testimony very clearly today is that nothing was in that set of texts that were classified. I'll follow up on Senator Wyden's question. If that's the case, please release that whole text stream so that the public can have a view of what actually transpired on this discussion. It's hard for me to believe that targets and timing and weapons would not have been classified. Well,
so do you see what she's trying to do here? She's saying, no, that wasn't classified information that was in that group chat, but no, I can't discuss it here because it's classified. It's under review by the National Security Council. Of course, this was classified information. When you are talking about the targets you're going to hit, you're talking about the weapons you're going to use, you're talking about the timing and the sequencing of the attacks, of course, that is going to be classified information. Of course, you do not want this information getting into anybody's hands because that could compromise the mission. So how is it even possible that the Director of National Intelligence is sitting before Congress just lying, just blatantly lying about whether or not this was actually classified information or not? I mean, this is what we continue to see from these MAGA lunatics. They do not want to take accountability for absolutely anything. I mean, here's John Ratcliffe blaming the favorite MAGA boogeyman for what happened here.
One of the things that I was briefed on very early, Senator, was by the CIA records management folks about the use of Signal as a permissible work use. It is. That is a practice that preceded the current administration to the Biden administration.
Director Ratcliffe, I've got a series of questions. If you're making the statement, making the statement, the Signal is a secure channel.
No, can I answer that? It is.
I've got a series of
decryption. So
it is.
To finish,
I understand encryption.
It is permissible to use to communicate and coordinate for work purposes, provided, Senator, that any decisions that are made are also recorded through formal channels.
That's not what you guys were doing. Of course, you can use Signal to like schedule meetings, maybe regular work discussion, but you're using Signal to discuss classified information regarding the attacks on a foreign terrorist organization. That is not a permitted use of Signal. And to think that you're just going to blame Biden because your team was using this app is just laughable. Again, these people will take any opportunity at all to blame everything that goes wrong on the Biden administration. We have seen this over and over and over again. It is just so laughable that these people will never, ever take accountability for anything that goes wrong under this Trump administration. Here's Michael Bennet talking about how one of the people involved in this group chat was actually in Russia, which is just...
One final point. I'm out of time.
It. Well, are you going to give me a chance?
Is it appropriate? Did you know that the president's Middle East advisor was in Moscow on this thread while you were, as director of the CIA, participating in this thread? Were you aware of that? Are you aware of that today?
I'm not aware of that today.
This sloppiness, this incompetence, this disrespect for our intelligence agencies and the personnel who work for them is entirely unacceptable. It's an embarrassment.
Senator,
you need to do better. You need to do better.
Just think about how insane that is. You've got somebody who is participating in this group chat discussing classified information regarding the bombing of the Houthis, and one of those people is over in Moscow on a business trip or whatever. What if that dude's phone got lost? What if that dude's phone was stolen? Now you've got Russia, who could possibly gain access to this very sensitive information. I mean, the incompetence just could not be more clear. It is just insane to me that we are using third-party messaging apps, discussing highly sensitive information, and then when these people are asked about it, they just play dumb like, oh no, nothing bad, nothing to see here, guys, nothing to see here. Every single one of these people should resign. They are putting American lives at risk because they don't want to do their due diligence. They don't want to take the time to do things the way that they are supposed to be done. I mean, this just gets it further how this whole MAGA movement operates. They think they can just do whatever they want and they will never, ever suffer any consequences. But when you're putting more American lives at risk because you don't want to switch over to a compartmented facility where you can view classified documents and you just want to go use Signal instead, I mean, again, the incompetence could not be more clear. And then when they are asked whether or not this was a mistake, They can't even admit that.
Director Radcliffe, this was a huge mistake, correct?
No.
A national political...
Hold on.
No, you
Let me
hold
answer.
on. No,
The
Director
answer- the
Radcliffe,
reason
I
I
asked
say
you a yes
no-
or no question, and now you hold on. A national political reporter
You can characterize it how you want.
was made privy
The White
to
House has
sensitive
made
information
clear
about
that there
imminent
was an
military
inadvertent
operations against a
mistake,
foreign terrorist
An inadvertent
organization.
mistake of adding a reporter.
And that wasn't a huge
to a
mistake?
seal.
That wasn't a huge mistake?
Well, I think they characterized
This is
it
an
as a
embarrassment.
mistake.
This is utterly unprofessional. There's been no apology. There has been no recognition of the gravity of this error. And by the way, we will get the full transcript of this chain, and your testimony will be measured carefully against its content. Thank you.
How can he even sit there with a straight face and try to say that this was not a catastrophic mistake? Of course, this was a huge mistake. A journalist from The Atlantic should not be able to get classified information about military operations. And we're just lucky that Jeffrey Goldberg is somebody of integrity, somebody who followed along. He reported on this thoughtfully, making sure he wasn't leaking any classified information. What if somebody else got their hands on this material and went and sold it? I mean, things just could have been so much worse. This is not what good leadership looks like. A good leader would stand up and say, yes, we made a huge mistake. We're going to do whatever we can to address that mistake and make sure that it never happens again. But because these people are part of the MAGA movement, they have all adopted this Donald Trump strategy where you deny, deny, deny. And if anybody asks you a question, if anybody tries to hold you accountable, you can't admit anything because Daddy Trump might think it appears weak. I mean, these people are absolutely pathetic, and every single one of them should be nowhere near power because they're putting American lives at risk because they couldn't go and have the respect for our processes and procedures, and instead is sharing classified information on a third-party messaging app. So I will leave it there for now, guys. If you guys got anything out of this video, please do remember to smash that like button and subscribe. Maybe share with a friend or two. I'd very much appreciate that. We've got to build something here on the left that can adequately push back against this right-wing media ecosystem that just shovels shit for the MAGA movement every single day. So if you do like what I do here, please do remember to hit that subscribe button. It is free. And if you guys want to see how the Trump administration is deporting innocent people to an El Salvadorian prison where they are likely going to be tortured, go ahead and watch that video on the screen now. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next one.